Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be another episode of mining versus buying. We're going to kind of turn this into a series. Whenever we see these opportunities, whatever side it's on, we're going to talk about them. And currently right now it is one of those buying opportunities. Okay, so we're going to talk about what we're looking at, why we're looking at these things, and kind of the potential of some of these coins, right? Right now, we're given another very good opportunity. So we're going to talk about specific coins and specifically what we're looking at and why. Okay. So if that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get right to this thing. So as you guys know, I am a huge advocate for doing both. I don't like putting myself in this little box where I'm a miner, I mine only, all I do is mine and sell and provide liquidity. To me, not something that works, right? I try to take the most of opportunities. I try to stack as many coins for the least amount of fiat, right? So I try to do both things. Whatever's more advantageous, that's what I'm going to go with. If there are times where to me it's like a glaring, obvious time to potentially buy, I'm going to be buying, right? Especially with a lot of these GPU mineable coins, right? That to me is where it's a very big sign. Obviously, if you have an ASIC, it's a little bit different because you're only going to be mining that one coin, right? GPUs, you do have that extreme flexibility. So there's certain times where certain projects look extremely good just because of the profitability at that moment. Okay, so I'm going to highlight a few projects. Doesn't necessarily mean to buy these projects. I'm just kind of looking at, going to give you examples of why I would look at these, why I am looking at them, and kind of their potential overall. Okay, so let's just give a quick little snapshot of the market currently and right now. Just for reference in the future, this is November 3rd. This is just a few days before the election. Things are extremely volatile. They're dumping pretty aggressively, especially the alts. We are at a point right now where BTC dominance has been going through the roof, and a lot of the alts have been bleeding very, very aggressively. And we've seen this before. We've seen these like flash crashes and stuff. A lot of these prices have been sustaining, so it is a good opportunity, potentially, right? We don't know what's going to happen this coming week. It's going to be a lot of volatility. Can prices go lower? Sure. And with any of the coins we're going to talk about, can they continue to tank even more? Because a lot of them have been tanking pretty bigly, and it's possible they go down further. But for me, it's risk to reward. Right now, currently at the price, there's so much upside that to me it just looks good. Even if it continues to go down, even if it goes down another 10%, 20%, 50%, risk to reward looks excellent at this point. Okay, so again, none of this is financial advice. Not even saying that these are good coins to look into, but just gonna give these examples. Okay. So that was a quick look at the market. So in reality, as far as alts go, dude, it's anything is a good deal, right? Even aside from things in the mining world, just any of the top alts are looking extremely good right now. Not all of them, right? Some of them are still relatively high, like Solana, still pretty high up there. It's down to 163, which is crazy that I'm saying it's down to 163, but currently for me, it's still way up there. But there are other coins who, if you are interested, it's a good time. Even some of these larger cap coins, things like AVAX, NEAR, kind of just depends on your portfolio, right? So it depends on what you're into. But in the mining realm, literally anything right now, right? Caspa is still in the 10-cent range. It's been hovering between right around 11 cents, jumping between up to 12 cents and then back down to low 11s, high 10s. It's been bouncing in this range. As we look at the 1 year chart, you can see this is a point that it's hit, and we have to go pretty far back for it to go well below that, right? That was that November pump that we had last year, oddly enough, just about a year ago, when it did skyrocket into that 12-cent range and kind of just been bouncing up and down, right? But ultimately right now, pretty good price. It just depends on what you're looking at and where it sits in your portfolio. Okay, this is one, it has gone up a lot. This is one where a lot of the gains have already been had, especially if you got it anywhere back here. Am I extremely bullish on it? Yes. Is it one that is going to make you a ton of money if you were to just start investing now? No. Reason being the market cap size, right? This thing is currently ranked number 36 by market cap. It's $2.7 billion market cap already. Okay, so this is a larger cap coin. Not like top 10 coin, but it's in the top 50, likely to be somewhere in the top 30, top 20. Somewhere in that range, hopefully in the peak of the bull market, may do extremely well here, right? So kind of to each their own on how bullish you are. Like for me, I'm very, very conservative on my bull market numbers, right? So for me, I'm already extremely happy. Even if it just stays at this point, it's been ridiculous already, but my target price is about 50 cents, right? Realistically, can it go well beyond that? Can it go to 75 to $1? Sure, right? But my goal price, what I'm basing kind of targets on, is that 50-cent range. So for me to invest, for me to actually buy it, it's one that I'm mining heavily, right? So I'm still continually accruing it. But for me to really be buying, it's got to be under 10 cents, right? I had buy orders at like 9.5 cents. Is it going to hit that point? Maybe, maybe not. But realistically, it's one that I'm just accruing through mining, right? Again, I got in, my bag is pretty stacked, so it's not one, in my eyes, too much. Another one that's popular in the mining world, Alephium, especially with the ASICs. This is one, it is at a pretty decent price. Again, it's another one that I do have a hefty bag. For me to really buy, it's got to be under $1. At this point, I am mining it, do have AL zeros, and yes, fiat profitability wise, it has been horrendous. But again, my main focus is yield, right? My focus is yield. For me, this is one I'm very bullish on. Does have a lot of upside. It's only a $100 million market cap. I could definitely see this one hitting up to $1 billion, so I can see a potential 10x from here. My target price is anywhere from 10 to 12 bucks. Most likely will hit 15 plus. Obviously, the more the better, but that's just kind of where I'm targeting things. Okay, so this is another one that definitely not a bad buying price, especially if you're stacking. Like, obviously, I am mining both of these for me to buy them just because, again, they are already a pretty big chunk of the portfolio. They need to go lower for me personally. So those are just things I kind of tend to look at. To me, what's kind of the juiciest, though, are some of these GPU coins. Okay, so for me, and that's kind of how I got into both Caspa and Alephium, is just based off of the profitability. Okay, so once it gets to the point where it is at a loss on pretty decent numbers, right? Currently, we have a 8-card 3070 rig at a 10-cent kilowatt hour. Once it gets to the point where it's significantly unprofitable, typically from what we've seen, if it's a project you believe in, a project you think will do well long term, not a bad time to be buying. Okay, obviously if it's like break even or losing a penny or two on an 8-card rig, it's still potentially worth mining, right? For me, that's just my catalyst. Break even or better, in that range, it's still going to be plugged in, right? Now, when you're looking for those opportune times, though, because there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of these coins are at a loss. As we go down the list, there are a lot of coins that I would be bullish on. Chlor is one. It'd be losing 36 cents a day. Flux losing 39 cents a day. Dynex potentially losing 50 cents a day. So on the buying front, this is where it starts getting a little bit juicier. So this is one that would definitely have potential here if you think it's going to do well long term. Ironfish, this one, we'll look at the price of it, and this is definitely would be more on the buy list. And again, this is another one, you'd be losing 53 cents a day. But to me, probably the best deal out of all of them is, we got to go way down to find it, freaking Nexa. Okay, Nexa is one that does have extremely good potential, and this one is at a pretty extreme loss. Okay, and this is one that is not on ASIC, it is not on FPGA, at least that we're aware of. Currently losing $1.11 a day. Okay, you're only bringing $1.22 in revenue, and you're losing $1.11. So this is a pretty extreme loss per day. When I see numbers like this, and it's a coin that I think has potential to do somewhat well, right? Obviously, depending on the market cap, depending on the size, will kind of determine how bullish I am. So with a lot of these, I'm not necessarily saying that they're going to be, oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a top 100 coin or top 50 coin. No, right? Realistically, a lot of these coins currently, especially these GPU mineable coins, are such a small market cap that they have extreme potential, even if they're just mediocre. Even if they just reach bear market highs, a lot of upside, right? So that doesn't mean I'm dumping a lot into these things. So a lot of these, so 1% of the portfolio, right? Just that 1% can turn up massively, okay? So Nexa is one I do have a good amount, right? Is it a lot of money? No. Is it like 1% of the portfolio? Yes. And at that point, I think it's worthwhile, right? Even tossing $100 into it. If you don't have any at all, pretty good time considering the price. So currently, the reason why it is such a small market cap. This thing is an $11 million market cap. This is an even smaller market cap than a lot of the freaking meme coins. Okay, this is the thing. A lot of people are into memes and everything, and I am too. I degen into everything, right? From literally everything. This is a tiny market cap. Okay, 11 million. This is a coin that has been around for a few years now, that is still continuing to build, has a team, has funding, a lot of potential. So currently it's 50168. Even if it just reaches the bear market high, right, which is 4017, so that would be damn near a 10x. Okay, just based off of price. Realistically, you want to factor in the market cap though. That kind of gives you a better idea. So at the peak, it was about 78 million. Again, we're currently at 11 million. Even just reaching that previous market cap high, it's a 7x. And again, that's bear market. This is a 1-year chart. Okay, this is going to be its first bull market. A lot of potential here. And the reason I'm saying is because if you go in their community, you go in their Discord, they are still active, they're still building, they're still doing proposals. Nothing's really slowing down. This price action is horrendous though, right? And this is the time where people are scared, odds going to zero. And this is going to be the same with all of these, right? This is another thing you have to understand when you look at sentiment, you look at people's Twitter's posts, Discord posts, it's all going to be the same. Whenever things get this bad, all you're going to see, oh, it's going to zero, oh, it's a scam, oh, it's manipulation, oh, it's whatever. With all of these, Nexa, Kaspa, Lithium, that's what my comments are full of right now. Kaspa's a scams, Kaspa's going to zero, blah, blah, blah. You have to do your own research. You have to have your own conviction on these coins and see where your sentiment is at. What do you think of the project? Do you think it's going? Obviously, if you think it's going to zero, do not touch these things. If you see potential, if not a whole lot has changed from when the price was over here, and they're still building and they're still active, might not be a bad opportunity, right? And specifically, one of the biggest reasons I'm big into Nexa is their funding and who is funding them. Okay. And a big one, it's Bitcoin Unlimited, right? That's pretty much the main focus here for me, and that to me is going to be a big thing. And they just recently passed more funding, right? So BUIP 209, 210, 211 successfully passed. Just recently, 209 was formally proposed by BU President, Bitcoin Unlimited President Andrew Clifford. BUIP 209 secures Bitcoin Unlimited's long-term focus on Nexa until 2033. And if you're not familiar with Bitcoin Unlimited, that's the team that is behind Bitcoin Cash, which is BCH, which is a project that has been around for a very long time. It's ranked number 18 by market cap. So obviously they kind of know what they're doing, and obviously they have funding as well. Okay, so this team is very well funded. They are doing their thing. They're constantly building. I believe they're going to be at a conference here pretty soon in Australia, I believe, in a few days. Supposedly, we might get some more information on the potential FPGA that's coming out, and it's not going to be your typical, it's not for consensus, it's for some kind of verification. I kind of forgot what it was. But regardless, again, this is one that would be on my radar for these reasons. Again, I'm not saying to buy it or advocating for it. It's just one that I'm personally, these are the types of things I look for. Try to look for these prices when everybody's scared, when everybody's saying it's going to zero. And it's a team that's actually still building, that's actually still doing stuff. Okay, so for me, a lot of potential upside here. We'll go into detail a little bit more about the potential here in a moment and why we're thinking it does. Let's go to another one that was on this list of big losers, and it is Ironfish, right? And this is another one that, again, from the beginning, actually, just because it's VC funded, a lot of people do not like this thing, and that's fine. This is one that I am going to be holding long term. This is one that's in my bag. This is one that I did buy a little bit more of, And this is another one whose price action has been horrendous, right? Especially recently, especially right now, which is why I added another little bit. And again, this doesn't mean that, oh yeah, I'm dumping everything in there. This is going to be the greatest thing ever. No, it can just be a mediocre coin. It doesn't need to do a whole lot to just ride the wave of the bull market, essentially. Okay, so again, this is another one that kind of falls under the same boat. The team is still building. This is a privacy coin, so that's why people are kind of hesitant. Seems like they're trying to do it away, though, where they can potentially get listed on exchanges, which they have been on certain ones. They can continue to grow, and they're still building, right? There's still a lot of these ETH shows. They were just at an ETH Global show just a few days ago. They did do a presentation. They're still building, so they're still doing their thing. And same thing potential-wise. This is ranked number 1,210 by market cap, $14 million market cap. Again, we go back to the previous numbers. We can obviously see it was in this high range, even recently in that March pump when everything else pumped. $2.71, currently at 29 cents. Damn near a 10x, right? Even if it just reaches these numbers here. We look at the market cap. Pretty similar situation at the peak, which was in this May run. It did hit about 67 million. Again, it's about 14 million. It's a lot of upside, right? Even just based off of that front. A lot of upside here, a lot of potential here still. And again, similar thing. Am I going to dump a ton? Oh, it's just going to do all this? No, just 1% of the portfolio, buying a little bit more, continue to accrue that back. Can any of these continue to dump? Sure. Can tomorrow or in a few days, if Harris does become president, can they all go down another 50%? Sure, right? But it's risk to reward, right? At this point, if it goes down another 50%, kind of like, obviously it sucks, but it's almost like who cares, just because of the amount of upside potential, right? So it's one of those things where it's just risk to reward, right? You got to look at these things. Another one on the list would be Radiant, right? This is another one that has gone down quite a bit. It did have that ASIC pump for a little bit not too long ago. Has just about retraced back down to these previous lows, which is right in that all the 3 zeros and 5, like 6 cent range. It is within 10% of that low again. Okay, so again, this is another one. This is an even smaller market cap. This is 8 million. Okay, and then the similar thing with all these, they've been around for years now. It's not something where it was relatively new. It's been only a few months. They've been around for years. They are continuing to build, and they are doing their thing. Okay, and same thing. We go back on the previous charts, and you can see how much of a run-up it had, right? So it's 007. Okay, so again, well over 10x if it reaches those numbers. And again, these are bear market numbers. These are not bull market numbers. Okay, so a lot of potential upside, even in the market cap department. Back in that peak, it was at $40 million. Again, it's $8 million. That's a 5x from there. Okay, and then add the bull market on top, and the fact that this one can potentially still get more ASIC pumps in the future, which it will, right? Currently, it's just pretty much the RX0 and those Dragon Balls, but in reality, it's just the RX0. There's going to be more, a lot of potential upside here, right? So just definitely things to consider when you see these kind of numbers, when you see these kind of opportunities, when you're looking at the max chart and it's down here, like with any of these, even just based off of the price point. Same thing with Iron, same thing with Nexa. These are opportunities that I didn't think we'd be able to get again this late in the game. Okay, so again, these are like meme coin level potentials. Can they do that? And imagine if one of these does happen to take off, if they do kind of break in things, right? And this doesn't mean it's guaranteed, doesn't mean for sure, but what you do want to see is that they have funding and that they are continuing to build, right? So Nexa, for example, again, we're bullish that Bitcoin Unlimited is funding them. They have money there. Iron has VC funding. They have money there. Radiant is community ran. They just went through one of the worst things that they can go through, and it's with that entity taking over. They are now past that point, and they're still here. They're still building, so they are resilient, right? So these are ones that I believe will do well. Doesn't mean all of them will do well, right? We have done this with others, like Hypera is a good example of one that was a huge flop. This thing dropped massively to the point where this is definitely going to be an L. And again, that way if it's 1%, if it goes to zero, goes to zero. Oh well, right? The risk to reward thing. right? The hope is that one of these will pop extremely well. I feel confident that any of the other three will do at least a 5x, potentially with the potential of doing well beyond that, right? So we don't know. Sky's kind of the limit. It's up to you to decide. But like for example, with Hypera, the market cap down to 16,000. Yeah, not 16 million or 160,000. That's 16,000, bros. This is pretty much an L. If it were to somehow come back, though, that would be redonkulous. Is it possible? Sure. Would I invest anything into this? Hell to the no, right? This thing is pretty much a wrap. So why we're focusing on these coins that are under a $15 million market cap is just because of the potential, right? When it's that small of a market cap, things get crazy next year, which hopefully they will. Again, as we look through a historical snapshot, CoinMarketCap does this thing where you can go through. So for this date, this is November 21st of 2021, which was around the peak of the bull market. So what we're looking at here is what a $100 million market cap will net you. Okay, and currently right here, this column here is the market cap size, right? So if you were to have a $100 million market cap, would bring you in the round 500 range as far as your ranking goes. Okay, and again, this is on the previous bull market. If we go by what's happened in the past, if you think the total overall market will double, then things get kind of even more bullish, right? But even just reaching this $100 million market cap, which I feel confident that maybe not these three, but maybe one of the 10 that I have that 1% allocation will hit into that have such a small market cap, the potential is pretty extreme. Okay, so like for example, if we are comparing market caps, if Nexa were to reach Ravencoin's current market cap, again, this is current valuation. This is not previous bull market or future bull market. This is currently. So if Nexa were to just reach where Ravencoin is right now, it is a 20 freaking X. Okay, is that possible? Definitely. And is it possible that both of these go well above and beyond that? Also possible, right? Again, so that's why, depending on your portfolio size and depending on what your goals are, right? Some people could care less about the shitcoins and it's all about Bitcoin. And that's cool too, right? For a lot of us, that's kind of the end game. A lot of us are big into these shitcoins and the end game is Bitcoin. A lot of us, the goal is to eventually take these profits into Bitcoin, right? So you kind of have to establish what your goals are, what you're looking at, and what you want to take from this, right? Is it something that you are looking for profit? Are you doing it just for fun? Are you doing a little bit of both, which is where I'm at, right? And this is one where there's an extreme potential here still, guys, to make a crap ton of money, right? Is this stuff guaranteed? No. Is it a huge risk? Absolutely. Is it a huge risk with a lot of potential rewards? Also, absolutely, right? So I know it seems crazy, and I almost hate being like the moon boy, right? I hate talking about these things, but you kind of do. Sometimes you do have to remind yourself, especially during these times where everybody is so freaking salty about everything. Those are all signals that like these are the buying times. These are the times to take advantage of things. These are the times where you can still make pretty extreme profits here. Okay, and it's happened, right? This is a strategy we did these past 2 years, right? Some of them have worked out extremely well to the point where it made up for everything. Again, all you need is that one to hit, right? In the case of the past 2 years, we've talked about them. Some of them even just throwing like $100, right? $100 in something that did a 20x adds up, especially when you roll those profits into another coin that does another 5x, and then you roll those profits to another coin and just continuing that cycle, right? That's pretty much how this bear market worked out, right? We had a lot of success with Kaspa. That's why I'm very bullish on Kaspa. Like, at reality, I don't even care if it doesn't go up anymore from here. A lot of people are bearish on it. It's already done so well, right? At the point where it was at its all-time high, I was within 10% of doing a 100x from where I got in originally, which was only a few $100s, right? And that's why even just a couple $100 can turn into something massive, right? But again, you have to be in it to win it. You have to look at potential. You can't just, throw, oh, this one has extreme potential, it's going to 100x. You have to see if there's going to be a value there. Is it going to happen? Is it going to be guaranteed? Did I think even Kaspa would do what it did already? Hell to the no. Was the potential there? Of course. But I mean, my mentality, again, can go back to those videos from 2 years ago. My bull market price prediction was like 4 cents being ultra bullish just because of how early we got in, right? And it's like laughable now, but that's the potential here, right? So you have to look at those things. We are still early enough where there is still time. Obviously, it was a lot easier these past 2 years where pretty much put a little bit into anything and they all went like bananas, right? But the closer we get to the actual bull market, the less the returns will be. Okay, so kind of to each their own, and you have to establish your portfolio. Obviously, you want to have your higher conviction plays be the bulk of your capital. These types of things potentially smaller, unless you're extremely bullish, right? Maybe you see something, maybe you're super deep into that community and you see extreme value there, right? You have to kind of value things. You have to look at these things. But these are these times, guys, when everybody's so freaking bearish, everybody's so freaking salty, everybody's so freaking negative. The news cycle slow. Right now is the time, right? But again, like I mentioned, a lot of volatility coming up with this election coming up. This thing can tank another 50%, or the day after the election, it can go up 2x, and then 4x, and then 3 months later, another x. 3 months later, another 5x. Who knows, right? Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? What are you guys holding? Is there anything like under $50 million in the mining world that you are looking at that you are super bullish on? Is it some of these plays? Is it some of the AI plays? Dynex, Clore, Okta? There's so many of these things, right? I'm only touching on a couple, but in reality, there are a ton. Please share. Don't show the meme coins, please. But if anything mining related, let us know in the comments, right? Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I am out.